Bringing you the very latest from across the nation and around the world, this is your Primetime News Bulletin. A very good evening, I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Arundhati Mudannaika. World-renowned hairstylist and fashion guru from Italy, Saverio Palma, who is the technical and creative director of Best Beauty and Science based in Milan, is here in the island.
Now, what brings an internationally popular hairstylist to Sri Lanka?
Well, we have the details on Primetime News tonight, but before that, here's a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Speaking at the Global Services Forum in Beijing, President says that equal economic opportunities will be given to all citizens in the country. The police state that the chairman of the Amilipitiya Pradeshia Sabha, accused of assaulting police officers, has fled the area. Mother and daughter murdered in Anuradhapura. And the vice chairman of the National Food Promotion Board, connected to a number of irregularities, quits.
On to the news in detail. Parliamentarian Venerable Athuruli Rathanathera of the Jatika Helorumia submitted a private member's bill in Parliament today. JHU legal advisor Udaya Gammanpilla said the bill had been titled the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. When news first made inquiries from Secretary General of Parliament Dhammika Dasanaika regarding the matter, he said that he had received the private member's bill in question.
Today is day 3 of President Mahinda Rajapaksa's official visit to China. The head of state addressed the inaugural session of the Global Services Forum that commenced today at China's Great Hall of the People.
The Global Services Forum is being held under the theme A New Frontier for Sustainable Development. Issuing a communique, the President's media unit said that the President had emphasized on the importance of cooperation at a time when Asian countries are transforming into thriving economies. The President's media unit said that the head of state had elaborated on the manner in which reconciliation in Sri Lanka is taking place concurrent to development. Pointing out that economic anomalies had led to internal problems, President Rajapaksa had also said that steps will be taken to provide equal opportunities for all citizens in the country.
These economic development initiatives are also closely linked to the reconciliation process undertaken by my government. Many leaders across the world acknowledge that economic disparities are source for internal conflicts. Aware of this fact, we in Sri Lanka are working hard to ensure that all the citizens of our country get equal economic opportunities.
Yesterday, President Rajapaksa visited the China Academy of Space Technology on the outskirts of Beijing. According to the President's media unit, the institute, which comes under the purview of the Chinese government, serves as the Beijing Aerospace Command and Control Center.
Minister of External Affairs Professor G.L. Piri, speaking to reporters in China, said that China has offered Sri Lanka about $2.2 billion in loans for infrastructure projects and a free trade pact.
Minister G.L. Piri was speaking to journalists during an official visit to China by President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
And it will be a strategic cooperation partnership. Strategic cooperation partnership which straddles, as I said, all these areas. Economy, education, health, defense, fisheries, cultural matters. All of this was fully catered for by the discussions that took place and the agreements that were arrived at during the state visit of His Excellency President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
When asked about remarks by Britain that there would be consequences for Sri Lanka if its leaders did not address international concerns over the rights abuses ahead of a Commonwealth summit scheduled to be held in Colombo in November, Piri said that the progress achieved on the ground during that period has been very substantial.
If you consider the complexity of the challenges that we were confronted with after a 30-year conflict, I don't think that any reasonable and objective observer could dispute the fact that the progress achieved on the ground in the country during that period has been very substantial by any standard.
නැති මට දෙයක් කරන්න ඕන නම් මට අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඉන්නවා. දැන් මේ ආරක්ෂක ලේකම්තුමා ඉන්නවා. මට ඉතින් කතා කරලා ඉතින් මට ඕන දෙයක් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. මට එහෙම අතපාවිච්චි කරන්න අවස්ථාවක් නැහැ.
The police say that the chairman of the Amlipitiya Pradeshia Sabha, who allegedly assaulted two on-duty policemen, has fled the area. It was alleged that the chairman of the Pradeshia Sabha had assaulted the two policemen.
The two policemen had been attacked as they attempted to enforce the law against a trio who had been riding a motorcycle without helmets in Danuhatapma, Panamura. The police say that the UPFA member and chairman of the Ambilipitiya Pradeshya Sabha, M.K. Amila, who had arrived at the location, had assaulted the two policemen. The police, who said they have been as yet unable to apprehend the suspect, added that he had fled the area. However, News First attempted to contact the Pradeshya Sabha chairman on the same telephone number that we had contacted him 2 days prior to this. The phone was answered by a person who claimed to be a friend of the chairman. There is a meeting inside. The chairman is presiding. I'm a friend of his. He was there in the council over the past few days. One of the policemen who were attacked in this incident, Constable P.G. Chandrasiri, was transferred yesterday from the Ambilipitiya Base Hospital to the Ratnapura General Hospital. He is continuing to receive treatment there. Speaking in News First yesterday, the opposition leader of the Ambilipitiya Pradeshya Sabha said that the law is not being properly enforced in this case. Yesterday, the Ambilipitiya Pradeshya Sabha's meeting was held. The chairman was at the meeting until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I think low-profile police officers are helpless. The law is not being properly enforced.
The case filed against 19 persons, including Senior Minister Athawuda Seneviratne, over an incident of damage caused to a drinking water scheme was taken up before the Warakapola Magistrates Court today. The Senior Minister did not appear before courts today but submitted a medical report via his attorney.
The magistrate ordered for hearings to reconvene on the 5th of July and ordered the 19 suspects, including Senior Minister Athawuda Seneviratne, to appear before court. The magistrate also ordered the release of 2 Ministerial Security Division officers from this case. This case was filed against the 19 defendants, including Senior Minister Athawuda Seneviratne, for allegedly causing damage exceeding 1 million rupees to a drinking water scheme in Kohombathanna, Warakapola.
The third suspect in the case pertaining to the killing of Bharata Lakshman Premachandra and 3 others, Chaminda Ravinath, was granted bail by the Colombo High Court today. High Court Judge Lalit Jayasuriya ordered that the suspect be released on a cash bail of 50,000 rupees and two sureties of 500,000 rupees each. The judge further ordered Chaminda Ravinath not to influence or intimidate the witnesses of the case and ordered for his passport to be impounded. The court ordered the suspect to be present at the Criminal Investigations Department every Saturday between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m.
A mother and daughter were murdered in Abhayapura and Radhapura last night by an individual who had visited their residence.
The residents of this house in Abhayapura and Radhapura were preparing for well-earned rest last night after a hard day's work when tragedy struck. An argument had broken out between the head of the household and another individual who had arrived at the house. The head of the household was injured when he was assaulted by the individual who then murdered his wife and daughter. The police say that the 2 women had been stabbed to death with a sharp weapon. Sheila Karunaratne was 60 years old at the time of her death, while her daughter Takshila Darshanamali Karunaratne was 23. Takshila's father, who was injured in the incident, is receiving treatment at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital. The police say that the individual suspected of being involved in the dual murder and home invasion was arrested last night while attempting to flee. Subsequent to interrogation, he had revealed that a love affair had led to this tragedy.
A motor accident in the Palassa area in Mawatagama claimed the lives of a mother and daughter yesterday.
A 47-year-old mother and her 9-year-old daughter were killed when a car travelling on the Kandy-Kurunegala main road veered off the road. 9-year-old Shalini Sumaya Kulawatna, who was killed in the accident, was a student of the Mawatagama Roman Catholic College. The police said that tragedy struck when the mother and daughter were outside their house yesterday when the car ran them over.
I heard a loud noise. When I took a look, there was a car on the other side. I ran to the spot and I saw them under the car.
According to the police, the driver of the car had been arrested. Meanwhile, one person was killed and 9 others were injured in an accident this morning in the Andigama area in Chilau. The police said that 2 vans were involved in a head-on collision. The victims of the accident are employees of a garment factory. The deceased was a 23-year-old male. The injured persons were admitted to the Mundalama hospital and 5 of them were transferred to the National Hospital and the Chilau Hospital for further treatment.
The head of the World Health Organization has sounded the alarm over the novel coronavirus and stressed the need for countries to work together to adequately address the threat posed by the rare illness. In her closing remarks at the 66th World Health Assembly in Geneva yesterday, she said that 27 confirmed deaths have been reported as a result of contracting this virus.
Coronavirus-related deaths have been reported from Turkey, Saudi Arabia and other Middle Eastern countries. The virus also spread to the African continent recently after a man from Saudi Arabia crossed into the continent. The Health Ministry of Saudi Arabia reported another 5 infections of what has now been named Middle East Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus. As of today, the country reported 18 deaths out of 37 MERS-CoV infection cases in the country. All the 5 infection cases are from East Saudi Arabia and the patients are aged between 73-85 and had chronic diseases before contracting MERS-CoV, the ministry confirmed. No information has been given by the ministry about via what means the 5 patients contracted the virus or if they had been in contact with each other. A total of 37 people had contracted the virus since September 2012. 18 died while 9 were cured. By Wednesday, the global total of confirmed cases of human infections of MERS-CoV reached 49, including 24 deaths. There is a risk of this virus spreading to Sri Lanka as well, due to a large number of expatriate workers in the Middle East. What steps has the Ministry of Health taken to prevent the virus from entering the island nation? When there is such a danger, what should be done is to make the people aware of this. If this spreads, we will take the required steps as the Ministry of Health to ensure the safety of the passengers. Meanwhile, the Director General of the World Health Organization stressed the need for countries to work together to adequately address the threat posed by the rare illness. Quoting the head of the WHO, the official website of the World Health Organization reports that there is very limited information on transmission, severity and clinical impact, with only a small number of cases reported so far.